I thought a simple photo with an old friend wouldn't mean much now. I find myself navigating through silence and dissonance. I'm Emily, 29, and I never imagined my life would take such a turnover. Something so small, 3-year self marriage, now filled with uncertainty because of a single picture. Jemas always said, I didn't think things through, but I felt he just liked to be in control of everything. We met fresh out of college while I was working at Alico Bank. He came in to resolve some issue with his accounting kept returning with small trivial problems. It was obvious he was interested. James had a steady, reliable charm, not the type to sweep you off your feet, but the kind that made you feel secure. He was on track for a promotion at his corporate job, and we quickly built a life together after 8 months married. 6 months later, everyone said we were perfect. His structure balancing out my spontaneous. Our first few years were good movie nights. Weekend trips, plans for the future. James worked tirelessly, always focused on our long-term goals, but somewhere along the way, I started to feel something missing. My days felt predictable: work, home, family gatherings on discussions about investments. My friends still went out, traveled, and experienced life while I was picking out new furniture and planning for things years down the line. One day, a social media memory popped up. An old picture from college, me and Ryan, my best friend from those years. He had always been adventurous, the kind of person who lived in the moment. I clicked on his profile, surprised to see that he was single again when his friend request came through. I accepted it without a second thought. James never understood my need to stay connected with old friends. He believed we should be enough for each other. But as I scrolled through Ryan's updates, laughing at his travel stories and spontaneous adventures, I couldn't help but feel a twinge of nostalgia when our college reunion was announced. I felt an excitement I hadn't felt in years. It was a chance to see old friends, to remember who I was before I became part of a structured life James couldn't take due to work, but he told me to have fun. I spent weeks preparing, choosing the perfect outfit, getting my hair done, wanting to feel like myself. The reunion was everything I had hoped for: laughs, memories, catching up with people I hadn't seen in years. Then I saw Ryan. He hadn't changed. Ed Muck still had that carefree energy, that confidence. We talked for horse racing about late night road trips and spontaneous adventures. It was refreshing, easy. Then he suggested Wediki, a picture, just a quick selfie, a moment captured from a fun night without thinking twice. I smiled as he snapped its photo. He posted it with the caption, "Ruined after all these years." I didn't think much of it until the next morning. James was already awake when I walked into the kitchen. That was unusual. He was making coffee, his expression unreal. "Did you have fun last night?" asked his voice. Neutral. "Yeah, it was great seeing everyone," I said, sensing something was off. Then he turned his phone toward me. The picture, the comments, people reminiscing, teasing, saying what looked like we had never been. Artrian's casual response: "Some things never change." James sighed. "I don't get it, Emily. You didn't even mention running into him. Why keep it from me?" "Because it wasn't a big deal." I insisted. "It's just a photo." "Then why does it look like more? Does it feel like more?" I had no news where I hadn't done anything wrong. Booty also knew James wasn't entirely wrong either. I had let myself get swept up in a moment that made me feel young again, but at what cost? The days that followed were filled with quiet tension. James grew distant. I told myself it was just a meme that would get past it bad. The truth was that picture hate exposed something deeper, a disconnect neither of us had been willing to acknowledge. As the days turned into weeks, we barely spoke beyond the necessary exchanges about bills and groceries. I found myself checking Ryan's social media more frequently, smiling at these updates, wondering if my life would have been different had I made other choices. It wasn't that I wanted anything more with Ryan. It was the idea of Waith presented one evening. James came home earlier than usual. "We need to talk," he said, his voice steady but serious. My stomach tightened as I sat across from him. "Emily, I don't want to spend my life with someone who isn't sore if she wants to be here." His words hit me harder than I expected. I opened my mouth to argue, but the truth was he was right. I had been drifting away, even if I hadn't acted on anything beyond that single photo. "I care about you," James said quietly, "but I don't know if I've been fully present in this." Marriage nodded, looking down at his hands. "Then Mabe, we need to figure out why that is together instead of an argument or accusations." We had the most honest conversation of our marriage that night, talked about how we had lost touch with what made us happy, about how we had let routine take over instead of nurturing our relationship. In the end, we chose to work through it, to to find new ways to bring excitement into our relationship instead of seeking idlesware. The picture wasn't the problem, it was the wake-up call we needed. Small choices matter. A single moment can change everything, but sometimes it's not about what happened, it's about what you choose to do next, and we chose to fight for us.